What's up? Welcome to a new episode of Movie Schmovie. This is episode 459. My name is Steve. I'm one of the co-hosts of the show, and as always, I'm joined by
Ron.
Well, that's interesting enough, Mr. Trickle, but it's just not my specialty. But I'm John. I'm not Dr. Claire Lewicki with my hand on Tom Cruise's junk, as you might have thought from what I said at first. And that's how you start a show.
yeah, there it is. Anything with the trickle.
Yeah, anything with the trickle on the penis.
It's only uphill from there.
You know, all the names in that movie, in our required viewing pick, not all of them, but many of them have that sort of almost like when you were in fifth grade, the kind of joke names you would have come up with, you know, to be either cool or to sound like you were making dick jokes or something. Anyway, we'll get into it. We'll talk about all the names.
So I mean, today's episode, we're going to get to Ronald's required viewing pick in a moment. We'll go over some, if any of us have seen some bits and bobs, random things we may have watched, but you went blurry there, Ronald.
What happened, Ronald? Why'd you get blurry?
I don't know.
There it goes. And
That's
then
weird.
I think the big reveal here, the big part of the episode is going to be Ronald and John talking about Fantastic Four. They both were able to see that today before we record it, so I'm excited to hear.
We didn't see Fantastic Four. We saw Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Colon, first steps.
First
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's start with the required viewing. Ronald, you want to kick it off and tell us what you picked and why?
Yeah, man. As I said before, everything that Tony Scott made isn't shit. And especially June 27th, 1990, a gem of a movie came out by the name of Days of Thunder, which is a great race car movie starring Thomas Cruise, Nicole Kidman,
Timothy
and some-
Cruise himself.
Timothy Cruise. In the height of Tom Cruise-ness, man. This is like young, fiery Tom Cruise.
I want to
really
talk
cool.
about this when we get into when we get to
okay,
this.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
That's a good point you made there. I want to get to that.
Yeah, so this is, Days of Thunder at smack dab in the middle of when Tom Cruise is like rising to this level of fame where, Michael Jackson, people are fainting when they see him kind of fame, it's starting that. And I think that some of it is kind of a result of these types of movies, these movies where, you see this imperfect hero, handsome in every scene. He never really, even when he's getting beat to shit and covered in dirt, still very striking look to him. His hair is always amazing.
Very lovingly applied dirt.
Yeah. And it seems like the thing about this gentleman is that he's a great driver, but he doesn't know much about the how to fix cars or how they work mechanically, or he's just like, put me in a car and let me be a hero. And I kind of love that about him. And that's kind of, at F1 we talked about this sort of dynamic that existed where, there's a point where the hero has to work with the team to make things work, and this is no different. Days of Thunder has that dynamic where the person that is really at the heart of the film has to humble himself and start listening to his team to become a better driver, which is cool, man. Seeing people humble themselves, and it doesn't take away any of that ego of his, but this character Cole Trickle is a crazy character. Cole Trickle, which is nuts.
Mr. Trickle. which he calls
Mr.
him
Trickle.
Yeah, but is it a love story between Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, or is it a love story between Tom Cruise and Robert Duvall? I think you could make
I'd
the
say
case.
Robert Duvall. I'd say Robert
Well, I mean,
Duvall.
Robert Duvall's
all the
the
way.
second lead in this, and maybe even the heart of the movie, you know? So I do think that this was at a period when Tom Cruise was like working with actors like that. Like, I mean, I meant to pull up where was Tom Cruise in his run at this point, but I mean, he's acting opposite these greats. And I would like to come to this question, Ronald. You said that Tony Scott didn't not everything he made was shit. Let's just look at the list. Let's just real quick.
Yeah,
Shit,
for sure,
shit or not shit.
Okay.
The Hunger,
I wasn't a big fan. I'm gonna just say,
Yeah,
like, you know.
not for me.
but not
Yeah.
shit. Not
Yeah,
like
not-
it's kind
not
of
shit.
the reason
Not-
it's not my thing is not because it's terrible. It's just because it's
Right,
kind of
right.
that type of thing that is. Top Gun,
Great.
Great.
Beverly Hills Cop 2,
Well, we got not shit. Let's go
Yeah.
not
Not
shit.
shit. Not shit.
Beverly Hills Cop 2,
Not shit.
Not shit.
Revenge.
Kevin Costner, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not shit. I don't think it's not shit. That's not shit.
Days of Thunder,
Not shit.
Not shit.
The Last Boy Scout,
Not shit.
True
All right.
Romance,
Definitely
Masterpiece. Masterpiece.
Crimson Tide.
not shit. Not shit.
Okay, here's maybe one. The Fan. I don't know.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, maybe I need to see it again.
Yeah, I'm
Or-
a fan of that one.
Maybe I need to see it for the first time. I don't know. Maybe I felt like I saw it. Now, here's one I would say not shit. Enemy of the State.
Not shit.
Not shit.
Spy Game. I don't know that one.
Not shit.
Hold on. What's
Matt-
Spy Game? Let me see the cover.
Brad Pitt.
Not
Redford,
shit.
Bob,
Not,
Bob,
not
yeah,
shit.
Redford and Brad Pitt.
Here's one I'll say not shit. Man on Fire.
Definitely not shit.
Mm.
So I'm saying, like last week, that comment even started this off. It's like,
Yeah.
I think the exception would be the shit. Like
Yeah.
the rule, he's got some entertaining ass movies.
Yeah. You know, I like to open with something provocative.
No, I know you
love
do.
it.
No, but
I
I thought it was a
expect
good question. It was a good question because then there's Domino, and that's possible shit, right?
That's possible shit. Yep.
That's,
Deja,
you know, what's
Deja Vu
crazy?
is that any good? I didn't see that one. That's Denzel.
Yeah.
I was time travel. I mean, I thought that there was some coolness to that.
Ooh, cold chill. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Deja
It's
Vu did
okay.
that teaser.
Okay,
Whoa.
here's
Give me a cold chill.
Here's one I
Oh,
haven't seen,
goddammit.
but I have reason to believe is not shit because people seem to like it. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the remake,
Definitely not shit.
Not
It's good.
shit.
Okay.
I saw that in the movies. It was pretty damn good.
and then Unstoppable. People said that was pretty good too, right?
Definitely.
Let me see.
Yes.
Let me see.
yes.
What is Unstoppable?
Chris Pine.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Chris Pine and Denzel.
And Denzel.
Yeah.
So
Is
like
that
maybe,
the
maybe 3 or 4
train that wouldn't
shits.
stop?
That's the train. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I did see that. Man, Tony Scott maybe has more bangers than shit.
I mean, I wonder if Ridley Scott's track record
More
is
bangers
worse.
than MASH.
I wonder if Ridley Scott's track record is worse.
Oh, man.
Even though he's technically the more accomplished brother, however, it would take 7 hours to go through Ridley Scott's career. So
Is that the twist? Is that the twist that really might have more shit than Tony?
Well, we know this about Ridley that he makes so much stuff that shit doesn't really stick to him. Do you know what I mean? He's so prolific. I was going to call it, but productive and prolific. We can just call that prolific. No, but he is. So I think that's how Ridley Scott beats the rap. You know, is that he's not a hack. He's a journeyman, and he just works.
Yeah.
He works to live, and he will probably drop dead on a film set. And I think I say that about him in the best way. Sometimes I feel
Yeah.
badly towards people who you'd say that about. Of course, Tony Scott's story is very tragic, but I do think that some of those are some of my favorite movies of their era. Like I love Crimson Tide, True Romance. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember thinking it was. I saw it several times when it was.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a
when it
while
was
either.
around, so, The Last Boy Scout, Ronald, you seem to disagree with us on that. I would say not shit. Do you think shit?
I love The Last Boy Scout.
It's a Shane
I
Black
think what are we
script.
talking about?
It's really
I
funny,
need to
right?
see it again. I need to see it again. You know, it was an HBO movie that I think this was just sheer volume. I was like, I don't want to see this anymore. You know, it was like it was an HBO movie. But yeah, man, like I only say that just to joke around, but honestly,
I wasn't trying
man,
to call you
actually-
on anything in a serious
No,
way.
no,
I just
no,
thought it was
no.
since we're talking about one of his movies, it's an interesting question because I do think that image persists that he was sort of a hack or sort of a like a lesser than to his brother maybe. But I think that
No,
he's made some pretty huge movies. They're very slick.
actually, the argument could be that he makes more solid movies. I mean, just like things that kind of stick to your ribs. Like a lot of these movies you're naming are like formative movies. Like I remember them being like staples on everything. Like you know they played them a million times. These were like staple HBO movies. Like and that signified quality back in the day. I mean, it still does. Anything that HBO pretty much stamps and shows, like it feels like they're also saying, hey, this is a great movie that you should watch 25 times because that's how many times you're going to see it in a month. Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to our film. I just thought that was
So,
an
yeah.
interesting sidebar. So,
Days of
Steve,
Thunder.
did you pull up of Tom Cruise's run at any point, or do you
Yeah,
have
so
it in
that's
front of you?
I mean, when Ronald's mentioned that, I was kind of like, I think this is a little early. I think we may all agree it may be too early for the peak of it,
Right, right,
but
right.
the ramp up of to this point, even because the key here is that this is like the audience pleasing popcorn movie that
Yes.
follows his like acclaimed acting run of Rain Man and Born on the Fourth of July.
Okay, that's what I
So
was
those
wondering.
movies come out in 88, 89. Then he hits Days of Thunder. Then he goes back to Far and Away, Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with the Vampire, MI1, Jerry Maguire, which I think right there, 96 might be peak Tom Cruise.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Steve, every movie you just mentioned is insane.
I know. I'm saying like,
And not to say they're
but
all
that-
great,
that-
but they were all huge. Yeah.
but they're all over the place. There's
Yeah.
there's more dramatic, like award typey films, which we talked about before. Like we want to see him do more of. But right there between like 88 and 96, that 8 year period is one of the best runs of an actor's career
Yeah,
ever. And he's got a couple other pockets of time that would maybe even rival that depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
But to think of, those titles, Academy Award films, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, Few Good Men. And then you have the popcorn movies, and 96 just being, I think the paramount of it is simply because it starts his single franchise that is still going to this day.
Yeah.
And he
is
releases
it?
maybe, well, I don't know. He releases maybe, arguably, one of his biggest, most successful box office culture, it just completely zeitgeisty movies with Jerry Maguire. Like that really was like, I don't know. I can remember that time, that couple year run, and just completely loving everything he did, and just being like, wow, he is an action star, and he's in the best rom-com I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like this guy's got something figured out, and
Pretty damn cool.
and they're massive hits. But yeah, in 90, he's got, this, he comes off of those Academy Award nominated films and hooks up with Tony Scott, gets this film going, and, maybe arguably, I mean, Top Gun clearly was a start, but that need for adrenaline, like that thing that he's become known for, where he's doing the driving himself and he's taking the courses and he's immersed in all these things. And it's like, the crazy Tom Cruise that you see now, it's maybe maybe the germination period.
Well, wasn't it that he couldn't drive in this for insurance reasons?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's
Yeah.
why
And-
there's so many close-up shots of him just saying like,
Just
he's going
pissed
left.
up. Man, one of the things that I check a lot just because I'm picking graphics and stuff for the banner that winds up coming up for when we talk about the movie is promotional material.
Yeah.
Man, there was literally a sign that came out in the night in 1990 that just said "Cruise" in neon letters, like no Days of
Okay,
Thunder,
yeah.
just Cruise. I mean, this is the
all you
beginning.
needed.
And I remember Cruise Like Thunder. I remember the Cruise Like Thunder shirts,
Yeah.
and the banners and the stuff that you'd see everywhere. But the fact that his name is just plastered in neon in that like old school. I think about the iguana on a skateboard. I think about that
Yeah.
style of graphic. Yeah, man, like this was the beginning, man, and it had some cool ass merch with it. Like I do like that. There was like this is kind of that time where there's a perfect mix of like advertisement, cool graphics and Tom Cruise and something to celebrate, like him in cool ass expensive cars.
Well, also
that kinda made
the racing, like I mean, even in the picture I have, they were in mellow yellow shirts.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
I was
the-
gonna say,
the-
I think the mellow yellow, that was maybe peak mellow yellow.
Yeah, but like peak mellow yellow, but also just it's a world where advertising is everywhere, and so in the movie there's just logos everywhere, and it's like I'm sure that helped, like with the movie getting in on some of these locations where they were shooting and the deals that were made. So yeah, it is a very commercialized movie kind of arriving in that form. I heard someone, I don't know where it was that I heard someone refer to this movie as Timu Top Gun.
Wow.
And I
That's a
think
good one.
I mean, it's good. It's good.
I think it follows the mark. Like, and it is a thing where you kind of want Rowdy to die. I mean, for the movie to really have heft, you feel like Rowdy should die. But then you realize, oh, that's what they did. That's what they did with Goose in Top Gun. So probably they wouldn't kill. You know what I mean? The buddy dying in the middle of this would have seemed a little too much like that. But in the beginning of the movie, you were feeling, or at least I was going, man, someone's going to die on the track, and it's got to be Michael Rooker, because it just seems like that's where this story's going. But instead, we get this kind of storyline with his brain injury. I don't know how. I feel like the middle of the movie drags a little bit for me with some of that stuff. But I do think that like anything that would have made this movie, just because I'm not into cars, you know, that would have made this movie kind of uninteresting to me like when it came out, like just because it's not my kind of thing. Now it feels kind of quaint and kind of charming to see a movie made in 1990 that's like got footage that looks as good as this. Some of the scenes are just amazing looking, and also that have these actors doing things opposite each other. I mean, like Tom Cruise is definitely turning up. We're talking about how he's kind of forming his persona, but early Tom Cruise performances, he does these like gear shifts where he's just like yelling and he's so intense, and it's like it's not as modulated as what he might do later, but it also like I said, he's in a scene with Robert Duvall. He's like the year before, he's in a movie directed by Oliver Stone, who was huge at that point. The year before that, he was in a movie opposite Dustin Hoffman. Like here's a guy who's always tried to take on some kind of challenge. We think of him now as the guy who wants to like ride a motorcycle up the Great Wall of China or whatever, but which he probably will do, but or he wants to get shot out of a catapult or whatever. But like earlier he had the same attitude, but it seemed to be like towards working with these name directors or working with these big actors. So it is funny to see this kind of almost a parody of Tom Cruise. Like this performance in this, like even the way they have him styled with the button-down shirts with the top buttoned on and the sports coat and like the tight jeans, everything about him is like designed to like Tom Cruise is supposed to be kind of like, he's the pretty boy, but he's also the dirty guy who just rides up on a motorcycle through the smoke cloud. He's very mythologized in this movie, and it made me think about how often he's had a big entrance in his movies. Where his character shows up, and it's like everyone's going, "Who's this driver you're talking about?" He's the guy that everybody's talking about before he shows up. So, but it's interesting to see him at this early point in his career where he's still like, I don't know, it seems like he's trying to prove that he's got the stuff to be a dramatic actor. And so he's really turning it up. Like that scene with Michael Rooker where he like gets the baseball bat and hits the floor and is like saying to him, he's trying to get him to snap out of it so he'll go to the hospital, I guess. Yeah. And he says, if you don't go to the hospital to get fixed, I'll do it right here. And he hits like swings the baseball bat at him. And you wonder, like, is there a version of this movie where he would have beaten Michael Rooker to death with the baseball bat if he refused to go to the hospital? But no, I think that it's fun to see like John C. Reilly. Even, is it Fred Thompson, the guy who plays like the company head? Like the fat cat who comes in and tells him,
that's Fred Thompson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just all these 90s staples, 80s, 90s character actor staples, and some people you're catching, like I said, John C. Reilly before they're big. So it feels like as a time capsule, I found it to be like a really fun watch. As a movie, it does seem to me a little bit like discount, Top Gun. But again, it makes sense. It's the same team getting together basically to try to do something else that hits that spot. And it did, strike some kind of. I think critics didn't really like it, but it did well in terms of box office. So, and that's with a budget that went hugely over. Although I've heard that maybe the estimates are like low. That like the 60 million that's reported, which is over the 35 million that was given at first, so it went way over budget. But some people think it may have cost as much as like 80 or 90 million. But I don't know where. Again, that's just it was hard to find where that information was coming from. So I don't know. It's one of those. It's like I think this is like one of those movies where the producer's excess. This is like when you hear stories about Don Simpson and how crazy he was on sets. This is one of the ones where. Like, do you know about this, Steve? He had like a gym built that was like cost $500,000, but a
No,
gym that
that's
was that
crazy.
with a neon sign that said Days of Thunder over it,
Jesus
and he was in there
Christ.
working out
Wow.
all the time. And also, I think there was a lot of cocaine and a lot of like arguing on the set about how a shot was supposed to go between Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer, Tom Cruise, and Tony Scott, and supposedly just intense delays because of that stuff. So yeah, this is supposed to be like after this, the kind of wave of producers running the show kind of crashed, and someone like Tony Scott probably would have a little bit more control, following this. Anyway, I just think that's kind of interesting. That '90s, you think about that whatever those stories about how crazy things got with budgets and the
Yeah.
on-set behavior through the '80s, it was just ramping up. This was like a bubble that burst,
Wow.
even though the movie, didn't flop.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, I feel like the money, it's also like hard to lose perspective on like, yeah, if it went over like crazy like that, it's still money going over, but like, the time too,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of money it made for its time, I think it still made like 170 or almost 200 million
Yeah,
dollars.
I think like
Um,
100, it's 100, almost 170 worldwide,
yeah.
but still for that time, that was
Right, like I
that
don't
was
know
not
what that
bad.
is adjusted for inflation. Like, let's see.
I never know if the numbers I'm looking at are adjusted already. But speaking of time,
Definitely not.
another interesting thing was because it went so over budget, but they didn't bump it back. They didn't bump the release date back. Their post production time was cut, which should be about 5 or 6 months of post production.
Oh wow.
But they only had about 5 weeks of post production once they finished shooting to get it in
Mm.
in theaters.
Yeah, so
They
that's
weren't,
that's $420 million in today's dollars. Like
yeah.
that's that's yeah. Again, like, it's all in perspective. If the
But I mean,
budget
if
went
the
over,
budget's adjusted too, that's insane then.
for sure, sure. I mean,
But I guess it's in
would
line with a lot of these $200 million movies now. It's two hundred
wait,
fifty
what
million
was
or
it?
something.
So 160 million. So that's 65 million and adjusted is 159 million.
Okay.
170. Yeah, 420 million. So I mean,
Okay.
still,
Yeah.
that's over double. I mean, that's
That,
2.5x on its thing. I mean, it's not amazing, but
right.
2.5 times is pretty impressive.
I mean, honestly, and also we're in the age of blockbusters, really, like where
Right.
movies are expected
Right.
to make all of that. And I think even now that's changing. Even now, these movies that come out aren't expected to make
Mm-hmm.
$1 billion as much as they might be hitting a more sane number than that. So I think
Totally
that
agree.
yeah, this can't be construed as a flop in that sense. But I do remember that critics were pretty mean to it when it came out, and I can't really remember. I don't know. It seemed when I was surprised it was 1990. That seemed earlier than I thought it was
Mm.
because I feel like I was a little older when this movie came out. But I think it's just that this kind of went by me and I didn't see it. So in my mind, it was just I had it pegged as later in the 90s. Because I really only talked about it ever years later when I had a coworker. I think I told you guys when we watched Magnolia that I had a coworker at one time who was super into Tom Cruise, and this was one of her favorite movies. So I think this might be for some people like a lot of people. I think he's got like nice poofy hair in this.
Yeah,
And
dude.
he likes it when they play a prank on him with a fake state trooper.
Yeah.
He grabs his junk. A lot of Tom Cruise's junk being grabbed in this
Yeah.
movie.
It's all kinds of ding-a-ling grabbing.
I mean, I just feel like I mean, for me, just rewatching it did really kind of register again and
Yeah.
remembering like the again talking about the money and stuff like that and like that's one thing, but just like the impact on the moment, it was definitely a movie that registered and moved the needle. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the sponsorship stuff, the brand stuff that you're talking about. Like there was tons of cross promotion and you saw it everywhere. I mentioned last week, like remember riding the ride at King's Dominion in Virginia near where not too far from where we live as a Paramount Park, they had a Days of Thunder ride, like it was like that much of an impact that it's like a big enough title that they're like, we can make a ride out of this. And they did. And it was a race car simulator type driven ride, but it kind of crossed that threshold of having that level of an impact that you would make a ride of it, you would see commercials everywhere for it, and like Ronald even said at the top, like the merch around this movie was everywhere, like the hats and the shirts and the variations of all this stuff because of the NASCAR element and um yeah, I don't know. It's just such an entertaining, fun movie. And again, it's Tom Cruise in his ascension to like peak, in that decade, really running up to, maybe as big as an actor has ever been, arguably. And it's just one of the steps along the way, and it's like definitely a fun watch, and it was cool to go back and check it out again.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
what do you think of the Nicole Kidman Tom Cruise Sparks, Ronald? What did you feel like you were watching the beginning of
I
something?
mean, Nicole Kidman is just beautiful in this movie, man. Like it's wild seeing how she's like real striking and tall. I thought she was taller. Maybe she's tall. Is she tall? I
She's tall.
can't. Okay, she seems tall in this, but
She's
then
like
when
almost
she's
6 foot, I think.
It's
Yeah.
then
I
when
think
she's
it's one of
near
the last
Thomas,
times that they it's one of the last times that they didn't like really stick him up on an apple. I think because I think you can really
Okay.
you can see
Right,
their
right,
height
right.
difference in this a little bit more than you would later. I guess is
Right,
what I'm
right, right,
saying.
right.
Later I think he's got the lifts or he's standing on something.
And like in this movie, he's always like sitting down, and she's so it kind of like doesn't make it quite as obvious. He's like being treated and running after her, and it's
Yeah.
she gets in the car really quickly. There's a lot of like somebody was very considerate of Tom Cruise in this movie in terms of height.
She's in the
But yeah,
car
man.
and he's leaning in the window. You're
Yeah,
right. It's like
yeah,
where
it's a
you
lot
can't
of
pivot.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
when
it's
he's like
no
when he's
face to face.
running after her and harassing
Yeah.
her. I like that he like kisses her in the middle of the physical and then runs after her and says, "Why are you ignoring me?"
Yeah. And she basically is like, I've been wanting you forever. She just kind of melts down and starts slobbing him down, which I think
How
is
old
really
was she in this? Because isn't she like the best neurologist in the area or something?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like I don't
She
know. I guess I believe that she looks like she was in her 20s though.
there's something about like doesn't she seem like much more of an adult than he is? Like even though there's like a little bit of an age gap, like he seems old. He is older than her in real life, but there's something about the dynamic in that movie, man. She seems like she's a good 15 years older than him. Not physically, just like
She's more
She
mature
was
seeming.
she was 22 years old when that movie came out.
wow.
Can you believe that?
No.
He was 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 5 years older.
It seems
She
the other
was
way around.
22.
She just had like
Well,
an older.
she looks
mature
22 though. That's is the problem. But I know what you mean in terms of the way the characters are performed.
Oh,
he,
yeah,
he,
for
he
sure, for
seems
sure.
more boyish in some ways, like than she seems. She seems more mature.
You can't tell, man. Like we're in this era now. I mean, this doesn't quite apply back then. People take so much better care of themselves now. There's like a point now where like somebody could be in front of me and be like, "I'm 57," and you'd be like, "All right." I
Yeah,
mean,
whatever-
I thought that
whatever
you were
that means.
32.
Yeah.
Whatever. I thought you were 32, but like, people take such good care of themselves now. It's like skin treatment. I don't know what it is, man, but something eating's different. People exercise a lot. But yeah, Nicole Kidman looks great, and she looks like a 90s 22 though. What you referred to as a 1990s 22, which is like
A little bit older.
Yeah, a little bit older, like
Yeah.
which is now you'd be like, what is this 30-year-old doing with it? Just the way people age now? They look a lot younger. It's just strange. I don't know
Yeah.
when that happened. I was looking at my yearbook and I was like, who are those old people in this yearbook? And they're just people my age. But yeah, there's something about the way she's presented in this. You're right. It just she skews older, just older than him. Not even like any older than anybody else, but
No, she definitely seems like she's. Again, it's just like she feels. You have to really go. All right, I guess I believe that she's in this North Carolina town and that she's the best neurologist
Right.
in the area or whatever. And she really does seem to me to be every bit of 22. But
Yeah.
but also just their dynamic is so funny. That's just not the way you would write the key romance. Now you wouldn't have him kind of bothering her quite so much,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the way they did it. Then it was to have the
just
guy
Pepe Le Pewing all over the goddamn.
pretty much, yeah.
That's
a good way to describe
all
it.
over the place. Yeah, it's a little crazy. But fun movie, man. Very good. Tony Scott. We give this one a thumbs up and a go ahead, see this thing.
Yes, 35 years later, go see this thing.
Yeah, go see the
Yeah.
movie we just potentially
Yeah.
spoiled. Although I don't know if we
Yeah.
talked much about the plot. The problem is that the plot really isn't even the point of this. You know,
No.
like
Not at all.
you can kind of feel the beats coming so much that when they do have to sell one of the beats, it feels like, you don't have to do that. Like when Carrie Elwes is in the car at the end going, he always goes on the outside. Well, I'm going to go do this. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's on the inside. No. And it's like those little lines that it's like, you guys, you don't need to do that to try to convince us that something's actually happening here. You know, this is all very, we get it. Carrie Elwes, you brought him in to be an asshole. What I love is when Cole Trickle looks over and he's mad seemingly at Carrie Elwes because he has like a European-looking girlfriend. There's this one scene where he's talking to his, like she's got like slicked back hair and sunglasses, and it's like she's severe and kind of cool looking. It's like, oh, that's the type of woman this asshole would date. And Cole's looking over there and he goes like, shh, look at this guy, you know?
Yeah. But Cole also the helmet scene. He pulls up on the motorcycle. It's basically like, hold my helmet, bitch, while I go around this. It's really, really aggressive, man. It's like a
You mean
gesture.
with Michael Rooker earlier, or
Yeah, just really early on, just hands it to whoever is there. I don't think it mattered that it was him. It was like whoever was close to him and snarling is gonna hold. You could have just sat it down, but he's like, hold my helmet while I drive around. It's like very aggressive.
Well, that whole scene is him and Michael Rooker, though, like trying to one up each other, because then Michael Rooker goes and sits on his bike, which is like
Aggressive, man.
yeah, man. Although here's the thing, they're talking about they're developing a sequel to this, right? And Joseph Kosinski has said that his dream is to cross this over with F1 and to have Brad and Tom racing each other on the track.
Oh man, I
But
would watch
what I
that.
realized is that then the fact that Rowdy doesn't die is a good thing, because it means you can bring Michael Rooker back
Yes.
to die in this thing. You know, he
Yeah.
dies in the new one, right?
Especially this version of him. I love this version of Michael. Like he's just such a snarky older dude. Like really
But
took
also
care
like
of himself though.
in this movie, he's like it's like the top in Inception. It hasn't fallen one way or the other yet. So it's like
Yeah.
Michael Rooker is just doing a different kind of part. Like, because you would almost expect him to be playing this guy. Like now the Michael Rooker we know would be playing this guy like as like a total backwoods, like, wow, what the fuck you're doing, you know? But it's like he's doing a little bit more of a regular, like almost like he's competing with Tom Cruise for the sort of alpha position in the movie, you know, which I
Yeah.
guess is his reason for being there. You know, it's an interesting little script idea that he's the one you would think would be the rival, and then he gets taken out. And then, but I don't know that Carrie Elwes's character ever really emerges for me as like a character the way that Michael Rooker is a character in my mind. Like, there's no scene like frankly, the wheelchair race at the hospital might be my favorite scene in the thing, because
Yeah.
it's just like the competition between these two guys is something to see, and it feels kind of almost legitimate. Like, almost feels like on set, Michael
Yeah.
Rooker and Tom Cruise would be the sort of actors to be like trying to get each other's goat a little bit, you know? So you feel that energy. And I don't know that Carrie Elwes ever feels like anything more than just the guy you bring in to be, oh, we don't like him. Look at him.
Yeah. Days of Thunder. Who has the next pick? Are you Steven Lorenzo?
That's it.
Ritter?
Yeah. Yes. Stephen L. I'm going to go sideways. I'm not going to go big. I'm not going to go Tom
Are
Cruise.
you literally going to pick sideways? I'm going to
No,
punch you in the
no,
stomach.
no. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm trying to find something. I was thinking of something that none of us have seen.
Oh,
I'm hoping I found something. But this movie's kind of been floating around a bunch of like again, I've mentioned recently like mid-year lists
Okay.
of like favorites or underseen gems, little diamonds in the rough. But this has been on a number of them, and it's like right up my alley in terms of a sports movie, nostalgic, a little heartfelt, but it's a little indie movie called EPHUS, EEPHUS. It's available digitally now, but this is the synopsis. A grown men's recreational baseball game stretches into extra innings on their beloved field's final day before its demolition. Humor and nostalgia intertwine as daylight fades, signaling an era's end.
Okay.
But I think it may still be the case, but I'm pretty sure it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes,
I
like 70 or
Dios
80
mío.
reviews. And a friend of mine saw it at a festival and loved it, and just was like, "Yeah, When I mentioned it to him, he said, "Yeah, you're gonna love this." But it's on, it's like rental, a couple bucks on all the Prime channels. But I think you can stream it, and scream it depending how excited you are on Mubi.
Okay.
I saw it on the list. I don't really know much about Mubi. Do you know anything about Mubi, Ronald?
Movie is a subscription-based
Okay.
thing that they used to have. But basically, it's like
A streaming service. It's another
streaming.
service.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Okay.
a yeah. So the way that it used to be was movie used to give out. You pay like 15 a month, and they'd send you a DVD every month
Mm.
of a new movie. And I think since they've changed it to a digital format, like they kind of drop new movies every couple days. Like it's a pretty frequent thing. It's a heavy duty rotation of movies.
Well, it registered when I saw it on one of the lists of
Yeah,
where to
yeah.
watch it because it's the studio that did The Substance.
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
like I know that's like they have that on their banner,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't
And
know,
it's a
but
free 7 day trial. I mean, it looks like
I was gonna say I just pulled it up. Yeah, if it sounds, check it out for free for 7 days if you want to watch it. But
I
this movie's
might
supposed to be
do.
great. Very kind of smaller movie, but only an hour and a half long. But
Cool.
I've been wanting to check it out, and I figured it may not have found your eyes yet. So
Mm, mm,
yeah, it's called EPHUS. Again, it's EEPHUS.
mm.
Available for digital rental. It's like $4, I think, if you want to rent it. But we'll check that out and talk about it soon.
Risky move,
Cool.
following up a car movie with a sports movie for me.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, is
Just went
John.
small
But
though,
but this sounds really charming. I mean, that story sounds really charming, and Days of
Yes.
Thunder, like I said, has its own charms for me just because it's a movie from 1990 where you see the film grain and you sense the way. I honestly, I mean, maybe this is talking completely out of my ass, but I almost feel like this movie was influential in terms of the way that it's shot in some of those giant scenes. Like I can almost
Believe
feel
so.
the DNA of this in people who are trying to shoot something like this later. But I guess you would have to track like what are the movies that have like the driving footage or the racing footage and the integration of characters with a real situation.
Yeah.
But I feel like this movie was a model that, again, for 1990, it felt like it felt very contemporary in some ways. That one thing that was, I will say this, we're talking about the 90 touches. This one touch I wanted to kind of mention. I don't know if you know this, Steve, but it feels like this would be a 90s fact right up your alley. Do you know that the last song is sung by David Coverdale of Whitesnake? And do you know that Tom Cruise personally requested that he come and sing the song?
I have only come across that fact before when they were talking about his involvement with Rock of Ages and how Tom Cruise is in the film version of that and like
Yeah.
apparently has a affinity for the hair band era of
Yeah.
music.
Of
And
course he does.
that completely checks out. But yeah, that I remember coming across that factoid when I don't know if it was him that said it in an interview when Rock of Ages was coming out, which honestly he's kind of so fun in that too. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, David
It's just
Coverdale.
funny to picture the day
Absolutely.
Coverdale gets a phone call.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
David, what? It's Tom Cruise.
I need you.
He wants you to sing a song called Last Note of Freedom for his little car movie.
Last
Well.
note of freedom
Well, I should ask Tawny Katane, my girlfriend or wife, I don't know which.
at that time.
At this time, I'm not sure because John doesn't know this. Let me ask her if I should
That's
do it.
wild. That's wild.
No, it's just a funny, like, that's one of those things where it's like, that's so 1990 that it hurts.
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise calling David Coverdale. David, we got to get you back for one last job. All right, but EPHUS, cool.
Yeah.
So anything
I want-
else?
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted to mention one movie that I stumbled across over the weekend with my entire family. I've been hearing its name. I've been seeing it on the socials and on Netflix, but I wanted to give some love to an animated film, Sony Pictures, called K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, I've heard
Keep
of
hearing
this.
about this.
This movie is so good.
Really?
Like if your mind can accept infectious pop songs and K-pop and anime and just kind of really, really fun animation, kind of sort of inspired by yeah, reading a little about it, like the Spider-Verse animation, but with drawing a little more from like anime and things like that. But yes, this is such a fun movie. The music is so good if you like pop, K-pop even specifically. But just this idea that uh there's this girl K-pop group who basically lead double lives as demon hunters and protecting the world by keeping this like blanket shield over top of it, which through their music, which unites everyone, which creates this shield to keep the demons at bay. Um, and then some of the demons come up with a plan to become their rivals as a boy band, a K-pop boy band. So it's like who's more popular, who's kind of taking, the chipping away at that safety net that they maintain. But uh, it just really was really cool because it kind of just it dips into all the mythology and demonology and even the K-pop stuff of what that is now,
Hmm.
which I'm not completely tuned into, but I'm very much aware of it from the music that I've listened to.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this movie was awesome. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Like it was great. It completely came out of nowhere for me, and like my daughter's like obsessed with it now. And like I'm at Walmart tonight shopping, getting groceries, and a song from the movie is playing on like the Walmart speaker. Like
Really?
it's like they're like legitimate hits, like songs now. Like
Wow.
yeah, and it's so catchy. But yeah, it's like the number one movie on Netflix and has been for a few weeks. I was reading, but it came out last month, but it definitely caught on in the last like 2 to 3 weeks. But highly recommended.
Yeah, I'm not. My barrier to entry with so much anime is just not necessarily liking the pure anime like design style and character design stuff.
Hmm.
Does
Hmm.
this movie, you're talking about the animation being really interesting, does it kind of
Yeah,
overcome that for you? Does it? Do you know what I
100%.
mean? It
Yes,
doesn't look
totally.
like typical. I mean, because I'm not saying I haven't seen good anime that fits in that style. It's just that so often the designs and the choices seem like, oh, this is by a template, and it doesn't appeal to my
Yeah.
eyes very much. And I know people that love it, and so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, and what you seem to be saying is this does look distinct, or it looks like its own
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, and I would definitely relate to what you're saying as a bit of a barrier to entry for me with some of that stuff as well, but never once crossed my mind watching it. Like honestly, starting the movie, you can feel it at times, especially like when it's intentionally switching into that type of animation for
Hmm.
certain scenes, because it does do that. But overall, it's got a very textured, very bold graphic look that is like, yeah, I don't know. It
Like
definitely
stylized in a
has a
different
bit
way.
of the Spider-Verse thing to it where
That
a
sounds
little
great.
less of the 2D elements, but I mean like that blend of the different kinds of animation elements is in this film for sure. But
Cool.
yeah, dude, I just I can't I was shocked how much I was into this movie. Like not that I didn't expect to like at least like it because I'd heard so many good things about it, but it's definitely one of the more enjoyable movies I've seen in a while and this year. I mean, like it was really good, guys. Like
Ronald, you seem to have had the same experience I've had, which is that I've seen so many people mention it, and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out what's up with this thing because
Yes.
several like people keep mentioning it like in the same breath as like Superman.
Yeah.
I saw someone say that's like the Barbenheimer of this year is that movie and Superman coming out at the same time.
I keep seeing these stills of the group, and like
Yeah, yeah, that
I'm
too.
like I gotta do it.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it. So this weekend will be the time to do it.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah,
some definitely like there's real world pop stars voicing this stuff and singing, and but there's also like Daniel Day Kim is in it,
Mm.
Jin Yu, what's the guy's name? Well, Ken Jeong's in it,
Oh, cool.
but yeah, what's the guy who plays like the big bad? I can't remember his name. I recognize his name for sure. Oh, Lee Byung Hun
hmm.
Mm.
from oh, what was he in? I mean, popcorn movie. He was in the oh my God, why am I blanking right now? He was Storm Shadow in G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And he was in this season of Squid Game also. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I recognized his voice and looked it up. I was like, okay, I know who that guy is at least. And a lot of them, other ones are like like K-pop stars. So
Cool. It's good to
Cool.
get that right.
this is the big win. Yeah, definitely check it out. Did you guys see
Um,
anything else before you want to
well, I
take first
only in
steps?
relation to our Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman conversation, I was thinking about power couples, and then, so therefore this morning a new bit of news caught my eye, and I thought it was kind of interesting. Have you been seeing the news that apparently during all the press for the new Naked Gun film, Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson can't keep their hands off of each other?
Really?
Get out of here.
That I just think that's a really funny, good for them. If that works out, good for them, right?
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't have put them together, but I like it.
Well, I mean, this movie puts them together, so maybe the chemistry, maybe it's just them. But it's just funny when a story like that comes out, and you're like, okay, and you see them together, and you're like, they're both showing their age, but looking good, leaning into it. He's dyeing his hair a little still. Maybe he should stop doing that. But it's fine. It just is. It's like not a natural shade of brown. I'm not judging someone's choices. I guess I am, but
I think you are, yeah.
a more natural shade, Liam. Get them to blend it with the gray a little bit better. But no, that's an interesting pairing anyway because of the movie.
It is.
Yeah.
But I guess her casting kind of lines up with Priscilla Presley being the casting before. That's not like someone you think of as a big actor. You know what I mean? Like Pamela Anderson kind of fits into the same spot. But anyway, I didn't know if you guys had like a power couple that you particularly like, or not, just a famous couple that you like. I thought of a few that I thought were kind of cool people that are together. But do you have
I have
anybody?
one on my top of my mind right now because I can't wait to see their new movie next week.
Oh,
Would be
yes.
Dave Franco and Alison Brie.
Which is Together, the movie. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see that.
They I love both of them and they're adorable together. So
Possibly a bigger power couple than Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. What about you,
Remains to be
Ronald?
seen.
Well, we're going to judge all power couples by that standard now.
Pedro Pascal and his glasses.
Okay. All right, you're going outside.
Yeah, I don't really know.
You're just like Cole Trickle. You're going outside.
Yeah, I'm going outside. I don't really know too many power
Jordan Peele and
couples.
Chelsea Peretti. I like that they're together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I like Jamie Lee
wait.
Curtis and Christopher Guest. That's always been a cool one.
Who is one of the ones I never knew existed until recently, and I'm obsessed with them, and I can't remember.
C-3PO and R2-D2.
That's what it was.
They're not real. I'm sorry to say they're not real.
That's what it was. Nah, I mean, there's tons of them, but there was. I really like Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling.
That's a good one.
That's a great one. I think
Yeah.
I love how they met, and I love like that movie is their chemistry is insane, and
Yeah.
you totally buy like that's where it started.
Yeah.
I just don't like that I haven't seen her in something since that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I legitimately haven't seen her in something.
Well, the other guys, was that after that movie?
That was
Or was that before, around that time? Because
I think that
she
was
great in
inside
that. She
the-
was hilarious in that.
she was.
But yeah, I don't know. There's tons, but
God, who was I just thinking of that I like? It was there for a second.
yeah.
But yeah, every now
I
and then you don't know. Well, Joel Cohen and Frances McDormand has always been a cool one.
Sure. What's
The people who can
one,
make it work over time are the ones that I guess you really notice and are kind of impressed by.
Right,
Where it
right,
doesn't feel
right.
like something arranged. Oh, late in life, every now and then it's kind of cool. Martin Short and Meryl Streep. That's who I was trying to think of. That's one of those things where they just
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's like it's like, oh, I bet they're both enjoying each other's company. They both seem cool.
I've always loved Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's like longevity, and like they genuinely just seem like they're like the perfect people for each other. Like every post I see of him and
Right.
her walking back from seeing a movie, and they go to the movies all the time, and he posted and they're talking about it. Like it just seems so genuine, and like they're just with their kids and stuff. Like I don't know, they seem like they have a really great relationship.
Well, right. And during COVID, I feel like they've posted
Oh,
a lot of shit
100%.
from like their farm, and it's like them being kind of corny
Yes.
and sweet with each other. But it's like they see. Yeah, you're right. They seem like a good match. They seem like they're
100%.
really solid.
And just completely genuine.
And I'm sure that everything we're seeing is not something curated. It's the real them. It's real life. Well, we love love
You know
on
what's
movie
funny? You know
Schmovie.
what's funny? I hear that and I say people of a certain age, I believe it's more genuinely them and not curated because I want to believe they don't know how to do it.
Right. It's
You
a
know,
little, like I
they
said,
don't.
it's a little corny.
Yeah,
It's a
like
little,
they don't care enough to care enough to like have to make it look like a certain like it's just like oh yeah like film me doing this to Sosie Bacon like you're like
yeah.
here film mom and I doing this and it's like I'll post that like I believe that of a certain age celebrity where like definitely younger celebrities it definitely I would never doubt that it's so much more curated and I question the authenticity and you know how genuine it is but which is why the two of them come to mind because I just feel like I've been seeing that in them for a long time, and you could probably convince me that he maybe doesn't know how to use a phone.
Right.
Simple.
He calls it the TikTok.
Put me on the talks. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald, did you see
Um,
anything else other than
anything else besides the big guy?
the big
No.
guy?
Well.
The big guy.
Well, Ronald, do you want to sing us in on this one?
Fantastic Four. Uh, semicolon. I mean colon.
Yeah.
First steps.
What if it was semicolon? That would be a real. That would be like the asterisk on Thunderbolts. It's like, what's this up? You know, what's this about? And then this would be like, what semicolon now? What are they doing?
Yeah, what the hell?
They're gonna have an M dash next. So Ronald, what did you think of First Steps, and what kind of screen did you see it on? And you know, what was your experience like?
I've been converted to a Regal baby. I have Regal Unlimited for a little bit. I'm Regal, and I'm also Gang Gang. I'm also
Gang
A24 Gang Gang for.
Yo, can you combine those, Ronald? What happens when you combine
Oh
that?
my!
When you become
man.
Regal Gang, what happens?
Regal Gang Gang, it just explodes like fucking. Yeah, so I saw it at Regal IMAX screen. I went to a fan screening. Oh, can you see this?
Oh,
I got a special
Like a keychain?
Fantastic Four keychain. Yes,
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's what they do at all the fan events in Regal. It okay. First thoughts about Fantastic Four. It was pretty good, and I think that what this does is, it had a lot of heavy lifting, and I feel bad for it. I think what I really felt when I finished it was, damn, that was solid, but I may think that people may want something a little more fun, a little more. I mean, this did have fun, but really, man, this felt tonally when Galactus felt like Thanos. Silver Surfer felt like Thanos in terms of just seriousness. Like there was not a lot of joking in the scope of what this was. And I
Like you
kind of
can't beat
like that.
this. You can't beat this threat.
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
can't be lighthearted about it at
No.
all. Right. From
Yeah,
about the
so-
moment where the threat kicks in, the movie is it's almost like a drama.
changes.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to overinflate how serious this movie is about that stuff, but
Yeah.
it is a pretty
it is.
heavy, it's a heavy, moody, like middle stretch of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is maybe what you're talking about. I felt that too, Ronald. That I was like, man, this is like a sci-fi thrill. This is almost like an updated version of like a '50s sci-fi movie where the aliens are coming and you're watching all these scientists run around and try to figure out how to stop
Yeah.
it, because there really isn't a way to fight what's coming. And when they do
Yeah.
take on some tiny sliver of it, all they can do is like run away. So
Yeah,
I know what you're
yeah.
saying, Ronald. To say it's not fun sounds like a knock against a movie that does actually
Yeah,
have a lot
yeah,
of a lot of heart
It's-
in it.
it's a lot of heart,
but
yeah.
but it's true that like the movie's job, it's not trying to be this roller coaster ride of fun. It is a little more heavy in terms of where it's
especially
sitting.
comparatively. If you are prepared for the tone of the Fantastic Four cartoon or any of the previous Fantastic Fours,
or even the trailers.
or even the trailers, you're not going to get that. What you're really faced with is like the beginning, and maybe that's something purposeful of the beginnings of the types of threats that the MCU is about to face. That feel like
Yes.
the scale is just different than this one. Like it feels like different than the previous iterations of the MCU that we've seen. Like this feels like I mean, you've seen the commercial. You saw that Galactus asked for the kid, man. Like,
Yeah.
like that doesn't feel fun at all. Like there's no like jokes about it. It's just like the kid or I destroy the
I
world.
don't, Ronald, I don't think they should have revealed that in the trailer.
I don't think so either.
I
I
think the
don't think
movie
so.
takes, it's not that the movie feels spoiled necessarily by the trailers, but I think the movie takes a little too long to get to all the things that the trailer tells us. And so
Yeah.
you are like, you start to realize the shape of the movie to come. It's still like, I still had some surprises. And I feel like the last little piece of storytelling is some of the strongest stuff in it because
Yeah.
what they really are trying to sell, Steve, in this is this family vibe and the love these
Right.
characters have for each other.
Right.
And it totally comes across. And at the end, what you're really feeling a moment that the characters are feeling, and something you might expect that it's like it makes something feel not cheap that might feel cheap in a movie where there's less heart. It's like the way the movie ends feels really earned emotionally. And if you know anything about the comics, you know some of the stuff that they might be setting up. But if you don't, I think the movie has a pretty cool little surprise in the last act or the last scene pretty much that's just like, what? Oh, okay, we don't know what's going on here. But you're right, Ronald, this feels like a taste of trying to carve off some of those huge cosmic things that are coming and make it feel relatable to these 4 or 5 characters that are like going to be here for each other and that we're supposed to care about. You know, we're supposed to care about that bond. Like if the Superman movie was about how kindness is kind of a cool thing to express, and if the message of that was that like the trying to do the right thing isn't lame, the message of this movie is kind of like watching these people try to keep their family together is the important part of the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how you felt about the overall. It sounds like you mirror my feelings about the overall tone, which is not so much that the movie wasn't enjoyable to watch, but that I was expecting it to be more fast and funny instead of like, oh wow, this is pretty grim. Like these characters are really trying to figure out a pretty hard situation, and then you're watching them try and fail to figure out the solution.
Yeah. So the thing that the movie that pays homage to this exact movie is a thing that tonally is on top of this very serious thing. And that's kind of like, so serious movie. And then on top of it, dynamic wise between the characters is like The Incredibles on top of it. Like the way that the characters get along feels very much like the dynamic in The Incredibles. Like it's like I could watch them for 5 hours. Like they really are the heart of this movie. Like they're good people that want to serve the community and love what they do. And there's a part that is related to that is so fucking heartfelt that like I teared up. It's like some really, really cool moments that feel like this is the beginning of something different. Although, okay, so this is another thing that I felt also like about fucking time that we start getting characters that we knew already. Like about fucking time that we started getting people that, weren't in the unknown portion of the MCU that they kind of used because they couldn't get access to these characters. I hope that we get more of that because the problem is you're opening up Pandora's box by introducing these characters. People don't want to see. They either want to see what we've known already in the previous MCU, or you're gonna have to bring those new guys up. I mean, they're new now. The X-Men, Ghost Rider,
The ones they have back now, right?
the one they said the ones they have back now. They have Steve. You get this very distinct feeling that Pandora's box has been opened. Like it's like, all right, now this has to happen. You've committed to this. We know these people. Now what the fuck are you gonna do? Now what's gonna happen? But with that comes this insane excitement because these characters are so cool and what they're doing, the earth that they exist on, it's very obvious that they're not in the same space as everybody else.
Yeah.
What they're implying with all this stuff and Reed Richards and how smart everybody is that something big is about to happen that I have no idea what it's going to feel like but you feel it. You feel it. It's like, oh God, man, like I think that they're tackling this a little different. I love one thing this felt at the end, Steve, is this felt distinctly isolated, but very much a part of a big story. Remember how when the MCU first started, how it was the teasers were like, what does this lead up to?
Yeah.
I was kind of like, you could watch this movie by itself and it'd feel like, okay, I've watched a movie. This felt like that. I felt like I got a meal. I got a whole meal from this movie.
Yeah.
And I was so satisfied. But I'm also like, oh my God, this is a part of a bigger story
that you're now a little bit more invested in, right?
Yeah.
And Ronald, I'll say this though, and this is not. I'm not. Don't worry, Steve. I'm not going to say anything at all about the content of these scenes. But the post credit scenes, I think they made a mistake. I think the one at the end of the credits should be at the beginning of the whole movie. And I think the one in the middle of the credits should be at the end of the credits, and there should be no other post credit thing, because I think that the one in the middle of the credits is more the scene people are wanting. Like, that's the kind of post-credit scene people want. When you watch this movie, if you're on the hook, that middle scene is the one you're like, this is what I want to see. The one at the end is one of those fun kind of moments that feels like, oh, we just showed you this because it's fun. And I feel like they need to be careful with those, with making, I mean, again, I don't really think it matters, and maybe they need to retrain audiences not to expect something so crazy. Because I think what the MCU did eventually was have all these post-credit scenes with these cameos that didn't feel like they were leading to anything. They were just a cameo. And Kevin Feige has kind of admitted as much recently. He said something like, there's no real plan to, he said, we may not get back to all of those cameos. So it's like, why did you throw it in then? So I like the little funny scene more than I like that. But my favorite kind of post-credit scene is the next time on. And I like when they give you a next time on. I enjoy that. I don't necessarily need the funny scene, but if you are going to have the funny scene and the next time on, it's better, I think, to end. I think audiences walk out in a better mood if the last moment they waited for is the next 100%. Time on. If you wait through that and then you get a funny gag moment, it just doesn't, like, I think Thunderbolts did it right. They did like a gag scene and then a scene at the end that was like a little bit more of a next time on. But otherwise, you know, maybe people, it'd be cool to just stop doing them unless you have a reason to do them. But I still know when I waited, I thought that middle scene got me. Like, that middle scene felt like, okay, you know, I like what they've done with this movie on its own, like you said. And then the little hint of what we know is coming is, I don't know. It's a cool little chapter. It's not exactly like what they did with Superman, but it's reminiscent to me of the way Superman felt like a complete movie.
So, Steve, what it's feeling like is no homework. No homework. No backstory. No that you have to study for. Exciting stories that feel very contained, but also a part of a bigger story, which is really feels. It sounds weird saying it like this. Old school MCU.
Yeah. With a little bit more visual style, or maybe even a lot more visual style. This movie really has more of a defined look. The one complaint I would have, Ronald, about that part of it is that because it's not such a conventional structure for a superhero film, there's not multiple scenes of these kind of wow moments with their powers. I think these characters have cool powers that are cool to visualize, and when they do really do stuff, it's well imagined and well conceptualized. I just feel like that the movie needed, maybe, especially with Reed, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I wanted him to like become a giant trampoline at some parts. Just throw us one of those crazy moments. But instead, he's mostly just, it uses it in a very grounded way, which is to say, like, this guy can, his name really should be Climber, because he can climb like a motherfucker. But like,
Richards.
Climbing man. But again, I like that they gave it like a grounded sense. And there's one scene where he gets kind of stretched that like really makes you realize the taxing effect it has on him for his body to be pushed to its limit like that. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit, like the way in Superman we lean into it with Guy Gardner making like crazy things with his ring. I wanted to see Reed Richards become he doesn't have to become like a baseball mitt or something. He's become some pretty wacky looking stuff over the years. But I liked the idea of him doing something a little bit more than just reaching. Reacher, that's another one. His name could have been Jack Reacher. And anyway, Steve, I think that you're getting that we enjoyed this movie, and I think I think,
But he has a question though.
yeah,
It's something is in his face that I
something's
Oh
can't.
eating
no,
at Steve. Yeah.
I just had like I think maybe just two
Something is in his
questions.
face that's
I think I have just like two very high level questions that
sure.
are
You're a high level guy, so we
me.
expect.
I don't want to get too in the
Yeah.
weeds on this. So
Yeah.
to both of you, and one favorite thing from the movie.
Mm.
Go ahead. You can say it in a sentence or a word.
Ah,
I loved, absolutely loved the scale of Galactus
mm,
and how crazy the fight was. Like this doesn't, you know, how, like when you watch some of the movies, like it feels like this inconsequential that this big person's in the city. You don't
Mm-hmm.
get that with Galactus. He put a dent on whatever he touched. So the fight between the Fantastic Four and Galactus was just, to me, the set piece of the fucking movie, man. Like it set it off. Like it was, if you don't love anything about this movie, you're gonna love that fight. It's so good to me.
yeah, that's the like see it on the biggest screen you can find kind of
Yeah.
moment. You know, I because my overall answer to this is that I really love some character dynamics, but it's hard for me right now, Steve, to choose my favorite. I will say that I really like that this movie's opening scene. I think it's opening scene. I think it goes from like logos to a very small, intimate scene between two characters, and it's like it's just a great way to start this movie. Is like
Okay.
with like this a small moment. It's a moment between Reed and Sue that is just like. I think that's the first. Is it Ronald? The first opening scene in the movie. It really sets the tone in a different kind of way for what
I think
follows.
it is. I think it
Okay.
is the first. I think it
Yeah.
is the first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's the second question?
And the second question is real basic. Was it better than Superman?
No.
No,
Okay.
not better
That's
than
all.
Superman.
That's good.
Like
you.
if
No.
Superman for me is an A, possible A plus, depending on how it really shakes out for me. The second viewing really, you know how I said it was an inside the park homer when you asked us if it
Yeah.
was a home run. I think after seeing it a second time, I went back to the fence and I threw that ball over the fence. I don't know if that's allowed, but it's
Or
technically
you're the
outside
fan
the
that
park.
reached in and got it while it was still
I'm not
in
really sure, but I
territory?
got access to the ball. But it became a much better movie to me on second. I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of it the first time, but the second time through, it really cemented some things. This movie, I feel like a second viewing might jump it up a little bit. But if Superman was like an A minus when I first saw it, and then it went up in a second viewing, this movie is like a strong B plus for me, and could go up in a second viewing. Like I could totally see myself getting more into the character dynamics. I will say this movie doesn't try to do quite as much. And if there is a complaint I have, is that there are moments where it feels like there's only 5 characters in the movie. There's moments with crowds of people, and then the rest of the time it's just the Fantastic Four and whoever they're dealing with. And sometimes that felt a little bit like unlike like Superman felt much more like every scene was just alive with people, and if you felt like you really were part of a world. This movie feels like it's doing what it can to kind of like minimize that, which might be a smart thing for a Marvel movie to do, right? Because we sometimes get mad when these movies are too cluttered. I like that it's free of unnecessary cameos and connections, but I do think maybe a little bit more of the sort of wacky fun and kind of the villains we see that they have fought before this movie that we don't really see in this movie. I might have wanted a little bit more spectacle of that sort in the movie, but the overall feel of it is just so solid. And like Ronald said, you can't say it's not a good version of that. It's strange almost that in the middle it really does slow down and become like these scientists are trying to solve the problem of a giant who's coming to eat the earth. You know, it's like it's not a movie with like lots of scenes in it. It's almost like a slow build up to a fight, you know. And
It's a legit drama in the middle. Like what?
Yeah.
Because the question is like, what would you do if this happened to you? It's kind of like it kind of turns it on its head. Like, what would you do if you, because so many people are talking about it? Because it would be different if it happened and then Reed didn't tell everybody, but Reed told everybody in the trailer what had happened. So like it's like it becomes a national issue, like it becomes an international issue. Like, is he handling this right? Like it's like a downright political issue, which I did not expect. I think I didn't expect that. I have a really hard time. I haven't. This is something that I've been thinking about. I have a real hard time thinking that this is gonna make 700 or 800 million. And the only reason I do is because like once word of mouth gets out that this a little more paced out the way that it is, and it's not like quite like not quite like the MCU fun that people have known to have. Are people gonna come see this movie the way that if it were a little more like a fun version of this with people? I think a lot more people would come see it.
I just don't know. I feel like word of mouth could be really strong when people see this and tell people it's good, and then
Yeah,
people will
yeah.
go see it. You know, it doesn't have to be that everybody's raving about it
Right,
being
right, right,
the
right.
greatest thing ever. I think if people are carried by the biggest, best moments, like I won't say what it is, but there's one thing that Galactus does when he arrives. Do you know that's just like he's a connoisseur? He's a
Yeah, yeah.
connoisseur of planets. There's one little moment he has that is just so cool. Like it's
Yeah.
full of touches that will stick with you. That like I think that people might come out of this saying it was really good. If that's the line you're looking for, will people
Yeah,
recommend
yeah.
this movie to people? I bet people will say, yeah, it's good. You should go see it. It feels like it should have come out before Superman. Like
I think so too.
That's
This
what a
mo-
lot.
this
I
movie
asked,
feels a little bit mild compared to the thrills of a
That's it.
James
That's
Gunn
it.
Superman
That's
movie.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
I've
what
seen
it
a
is.
couple of things mentioning that exact comment, and yeah, okay,
It's EO's funny. It's like the opposites happen. You know how like before the MCU would be that thing, they'd be like
yeah.
going all out.
Yeah.
This is not doing that. It's like it's playing it so safe that it's bothersome to me. Like I'm like, damn, they should have really
It's
had
almost
those moments where
restrained. It's almost restrained. But again,
yeah.
we're comparing it to a James Gunn movie, again, where he's trying to
Yeah.
set up a Technicolor universe full of bizarre characters. This is Marvel trying to kind of scale it back while
Yeah.
DC is trying to like really do something different. So it's interesting. Yeah, it really is like a little bit of a polarity switch. This is not a moody movie like a Zack Snyder movie though. So like
No.
it's
No,
like
not at
totally
all.
switched. This still feels like a hopeful movie, which again I think is the key thing with both movies coming out so close to each other is they both seem like they're trying to trade on positivity and the idea, like you said, Ronald, this movie's really big on just they want to help. At the beginning of the movie, they're superstars and people love them because they saved them so much, you know, so they're
Yeah,
celebrities. And I think it's smart to start with them at that point in their career because it means you can have this dip. But I feel like that is something maybe the trailers do tell a little too much of that story, even if there's plenty of stuff along the way that's surprising and interesting.
A lot of cool stuff that this just
Yeah,
isn't
Joseph
in there.
Quinn is really fun to watch, I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, he's great. And I'll say this too, man. Like the 1-2 punch of Thunderbolts in this is like I don't know how people feel about the previous what do they call these things? What do they call it? The previous
Phase.
the previous phase, but Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four being is this the same phase? Is this
I don't know.
the same
Did
phase?
the Thunderbolts technically finish the last phase, or
Did
did
Thunderbolts finish the last
I'm gonna say
phase?
Marvel
Because what I'm about to
phases.
say is very reliant on this. Because I'm super curious.
Okay, so phase. We are currently in phase.
I thought it started that phase.
Phase 6 starts with Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wow, never mind then.
So Fantastic
But I was
Four,
gonna say-
Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, and Daredevil, and then the next movie is Spider-Man: Brand New Day. But Ronald, I think what you're saying is true. Thunderbolts is the first movie they made after they started their new dictum of quality control, slow it down, get it right. So what you're saying is actually true. It's not marked as a phase, but it was the first movie. Like you can see it. Brave
Yeah.
New World feels like the last movie made under the old method. Thunderbolts feels like they're doing something. Their whole thing about quality control. It's not just lip service, Steve. It really feels like
It's, they're doing something, and I'm a little afraid that because people may not be used to this restrained what Thunderbolts is doing and what Fantastic Four is doing, that people might feel like this is a shitty thing that's happening. But to me, I think this is the beginning. I think that because they're doing it this way, when the new Avengers movies come out, I think it's gonna feel big again. Like I think that it's gonna feel. I think they're gonna do it, make it feel big. I think that it's gonna feel big. It might not be Endgame, and but something about the way they're cooking it up this time around feels like we could maybe get something that feels scale wise because if they're using this approach to like how villains feel, oh my God, man! Like
Yeah.
every movie's villain's gonna feel like this. Oh wow! Like I'm ready for this. I don't know what it is. Like it feels like I'm feeling some chills about it.
Yeah.
Especially the way that the Galactus felt. Galactus felt like a planet eater. Like it didn't feel like, you know, sometimes the phases it felt like a villain was just like, get it over with. This guy was fucking scary, man.
He was
She
eating
came,
planets.
eating planets, and it was showing them. And when she came and warned them, it felt like an omen. It felt like there's nothing you can do about it. You can't avoid him. He's as predictable as the sun coming up, and he's coming to destroy this planet. And that felt so scary to me. Everybody was quiet when he came. Like it was pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah, no, it's true. Ronald, you mentioned the quiet, and I think that's an interesting thing. The theater was kind of quiet, but it felt like they were in the moment of the movie.
Yes.
It didn't feel like they were quiet because they weren't engaged, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think, I know we're just reiterating something we said before, but I do think it's worth mentioning that this does feel like the beginning of, like what they do with Galactus. It doesn't feel like a one-off. It feels like, okay, now we're finding out about beings of this level and of this power, and that you can still, you know, attempt to fight them back. Like that it's not just futile, but it's pretty damn close to futile, which again is very reminiscent of the Thanos feeling. Like, you know, that feeling after the blip, that scene where it was like 5 years later, Steve, and you saw how the world had been coping. This movie, middle stretch feels kind of like that, doesn't it, Ronald? Where it's like everybody in the world thinks that Galactus is coming to eat them, and that at this point there's no plan to stop it. And so a lot of time goes by where people are just like, "Yep, it's happening." And the pressure is on our heroes to do something about that. So the fact that there's any light or joy in the middle of that movie at all is pretty remarkable. And we haven't really talked that much about the cast. I mentioned Joseph Quinn. People are great in this movie. Like the core four are just perfect. That's one of the reasons why this feels like it's the start of something, is because they do nail something with these performances, and they feel very lived in. And yeah, I'm with you, Ronald. I'd watch a half-hour show of them just having dinner.
Yeah. And Reed feels like the new Iron Man. Like he feels like the new leader in a pack of whatever's gonna be the new version of whatever the Avengers are.
Yeah.
East Coast Avengers, West Coast, whatever the hell they do, whatever they wind up doing, Reed is gonna be at the top. Helping to call a shot.
I feel like Sue could be a contender
and
for
Sue
right up top too.
I think they're going to be a pair. I think they're going to be a pair at the top, to be honest with you. But
she's kind of the lead in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I also like what you were saying about Reed. I will just say this: one of the things that's cool that they nail with Reed is Pedro Pascal doesn't play him like like a nebbishy nerd, but he does play him as like an awkward guy who would rather be off fixing shit in the lab than dealing with these emotional things and these other problems. And his approach to every problem is to try to solve it. And the whole idea that he thinks he's the smartest person in the world, it's not like an ego. I mean, Reed Richards can ego trip. You know, he goes some pretty wacky places in the comics. But this notion that his ego trip is like, it just makes him feel embarrassed and ashamed of the times when he hasn't gotten it right. It's you wonder how is Pedro going to play this guy who's kind of a cold nerd in the comics, and he actually plays him as a guy whose intelligence makes him kind of compassionate and feel guilty that he's not able to fix things. You know, he feels responsible for things, and that's just like, you know, we all know he can do like paternal pretty well. So I don't know. I just feel like this movie plugs into something really interesting with him and allows him to kind of stand back and let Sue be the sort of proactive person whose power might be the most, you know, she's definitely the most powerful person on the team. And if the leader is the person who can do the most shit, Sue's power set is pretty cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, for sure. Whereas Reed just feels like the facilitator. Like he feels like he's like, all right, so you're more powerful than me. Let's figure something out.
It's like, what if is Q's the inventions guy? He's the gadgets guy in James Bond.
Yeah.
M's the lead. I got my letters mixed up. I was like, which one's M, which one's Q? But Q, it'd be like Reed Richards is like, what if Q came on the mission?
Yeah.
But he's like the guy who's working in the lab and doing stuff. Also, Ron, the other thing we haven't really talked about, the Steve, the design of like
Right.
their equipment and gear and stuff is just the coolest, like merging
cool,
of
man.
like 50s through the 80s with a little bit of future mixed in. It's another aspect of the world that feels really well imagined, because it does feel like, oh, this is if you were in the 60s, but it was a more technologically advanced world, a more utopian world. It's just the design of like their ship controls and stuff. It's all really fun to look at.
That's awesome. Got to get caught up, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Behind. I'm falling behind.
You used to be our superhero movie buddy, and now,
I know,
it's
man.
just two of us
Can't get
nerds.
to the theater. Can't get to the theater.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, I'm curious to see how well it does.
Me too, man. Because again, this is like a different kind of movie, and I'm wondering.
Yeah.
On the surface, like I said, the initial viewing, I know the first day or two is going to be okay, but like word of mouth, once that starts to trickle down about the tone and what this really
A cold
is,
trickle.
the cold trickle, and these days of thunder we call July. I'm wondering how
You
they're
got to
going
hold on to your hairy hog and hope for the best. By the way, listeners, if you're wondering why the hell I said that, Robert Duvall's character was named Harry Hog in the film.
Yeah.
I wasn't just talking about
No, that's just John.
furry penises.
Yeah, man.
But no,
All right, man.
positive response.
Yeah, and it sounds. I mean, it definitely has a lot of love around it. It's just I have to take it in and see.
Yeah.
You gotta see it.
Well, anything else, guys? I think that's
No, I think
probably
that's
it,
a show.
right?
Yeah.
For now. Again, my pick for next week is for required viewing is called EPHUS, EEPHUS. It's on Mubi. If you want to try the 7-day trial for free, go for that, or you can rent it for a couple bucks if you want to watch along with us. Schmovie.com is the website. You can go there to subscribe to the podcast in the audio podcast platform of your choice. You could also go to youtube.com/movie podcast. If you want to do the visual option, you could also just do audio there as well. We have long form, short form, so many forms there. It's just too many forms, some say. We'd appreciate it if you could listen or watch us anywhere. And if you already are, thank you. But tell somebody else. Let's spread the love here. We would really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, you made our day. Thanks.
Bye.